Hello, welcome. So this is an introductory video on mathematical induction. So the idea for mathematical induction, one way to think about it is through dominoes. So we can think that the first domino is going to fall, and then it's going to hit the second domino, which is going to hit the third domino, and so on and so forth. And so the idea is that, if we choose one of the dominoes, like in the end, or like kind of in the middle somewhere, we know for a fact that eventually that domino is going to fall. And why we know that domino is eventually going to fall is because whenever one domino falls, it hits the next one. So when this domino is falling currently, and it's going to hit the next one, and then when this domino falls, it's going to hit the next one, and then so on and so forth. And so therefore, this domino will eventually fall because this domino will eventually fall, this domino will eventually fall, this domino will eventually fall, because this domino is falling, because this domino fell in the end. And so we kind of have two constituents going on. We have, the idea that when one domino falls, another domino will fall, the following domino will fall. And then we also have the idea that at least one of the dominoes were pushed, like the very first domino was pushed. So let's kind of formalize that. So the constituents of a proof by induction are you have a base case, you have an inductive hypothesis, and you have an induction step. So the base case, in the analogy of the dominoes, is that the first domino fell. Or more mathematically, you want to show that some predicate is true for your initial value. Usually your initial value is n is equal to 0 or n is equal to 1, but it doesn't have to be n is equal to 0 or n is equal to 1. It can be whatever your base case is. And then your inductive hypothesis is assuming that your predicate is true for some value, for some k, greater than or equal to the number used in the base case. And then the induction step is that because, using the inductive hypothesis, because your statement is true for some k value, then it will also be true for the next value, the k plus first value. And the idea is as follows. So P sub 0 is true, your base case. This is sort of the idea that the first domino falls, and then the statement is true for some k value implies that the statement is true for the next k value, the k plus first value. So this statement is the idea that if one of the dominoes falls, then it hits the next dominoes. And then, therefore, we can conclude that all dominoes are going to fall. And then, kind of in our mathematical realm, what we're thinking is that if a statement is true for a base case, and as long as we know that also it's true, or also as long as we know that if it's true for one case, that implies that it's true for the next case, then what that means is going to be true for all numbers greater than or equal to our base case.